Oh, hello. I think I'm supposed to start. All right, good. Can you hear me? Yes. So thanks for being here. This is a presentation about security, but it's not as boring as it should be because we're going to do a lot of demonstration. That hopefully will help to lower the burden. But the important thing here is that you come back learning something new. I hope you will. I'm sure that you will, but if you don't, then, sorry. But I'm quite sure you will. Now, about me. So I'm a software developer by trade. It's 30 years I've been writing code. So I'm quite experienced or seasoned, if you want. I've been coaching in Agile methodology before this was called Agile. And I founded a Java user group. And then the last thing that I did, I founded my own startup, which is about security, cybersecurity, and I am kind of pretending to be the CTO of that startup. So that's where I am now. So, oh yeah, if you can tweet, that would be great. There is my handle there. So if you can tweet, it would be great, because it helps me. Now, the agenda is very simple. We're going to explain why do we need a security pipeline. Some of these concepts were explained this morning by another talk with Fogworks. We will see if we can give some other motivation. And we will have a look at four actually main family of tools. And then we do Q&A. So remember to use Slido for Q&A. The room is 12, and the channel is GeeCON 29. All right. So why do we need to build a secure pipeline? This is a good question. So because we may say we don't, but the reality is that we do because of some problems that are already happening. And there was a long list this morning, and there's the same image this morning. So amazing, we have the same concept here. So basically, because a security problem is a bug, so you should consider it a bug that needs to be fixed. And the problem with bug is that the bugs are happening late in the production time, are very difficult to fix. So the cost is much, much higher. This is one of the reasons why agile methods were born, to keep the cost of change very low everywhere. But regardless of that, a security bug in production, in particular a security bug, is a nasty one. So you want to try to fix it as early as possible. So, I don't know, are you familiar with the concept of recalling cars? The cars broke for some reason, they have to recall all the cars of one model. That's a big problem and a huge cost for a company. So that's the reason why you want to put security in place. But most of the time, it's not like that. So most of the time, it happens that something like this. So when 140 million people were hacked in Equifax because of a security bug, and unfortunately, it was in struts. It was if anybody knows Java here, I hope most of the people, they will remember the old times of struts, and the guys were still using struts, but because of a failure in struts, a vulnerability in struts, Equifax was hacked and lost, and this thing cost them $600 million. So it's a kind of a big price tag that you want to do something about. The other one is more recent is BA. I mean, I live in UK now, in London, and BA was hacked for a while. Some very smart guy added a small listener to the pay button through injecting it into modernizer.js. And from that point, the pay button was still working as usual, but was also sending all the payment information to their own servers. So they got all the payment information of all users for 2 weeks, I remember. And that was a big blow up for BA. It was a big problem. So yeah, it's a big problem. But if you don't want to stick to the money, think about if we were building cars like, if we were building software now. So we would have cars with no side impact bars, no airbags, nothing, no security things, but they would all have 6 cups. Because some users asked us for an extra cup holder, we would have 6 cup holders or 20 cup holders. or things like that. They, in terms of security, are completely useless, but they're important for the user. Yeah, I mean, that's another one. So you have a security feature that you would remove before shipping because it was affecting performance. You know, like, oh, just remove the airbags. It makes the car going too slow. No, no, it's not good. Remove it. No, or remove the brakes. It's affect performance. And again, are you familiar with the MOT inspection? So whenever those things that suddenly it happens when every 5 years or every 10 years, you have to bring your car back and the government will have a look and see if the car is still fit to drive. And if we do this parallel in software development, the inspection would be, well, how many wheels does it have? 4? 4? Good, 4. Good, 4. Maybe another one, but next year, yeah. That will be the inspection. So this is the reality where we are with software development, and many people working in cybersecurity are really willing to change that. So let's look for a moment at the SDLC process, software development lifecycle. So how does it work? Everybody knows how it works. I just put it a nice picture here just for a summary. So we collect requirements, talking to customers, hopefully. And then we go for a design phase, which is probably UX, UI. We circle back a bit. And then we do the recording and testing. We ship live. And then we evaluate what we did. And then we go back to planning and requirements. And this can happen very quickly or very slowly, depending on the pace that we work. If you're very agile, this happens daily or weekly. If you're traditional, monthly, bi-monthly, every quarter. But it's always the same. And the intention of my talk is have a look to check if any tool is available for any of these stages. So I want to actually find security tools that we can use in these stages. And there are a few of them. So the one we were just a red ball, I wasn't able to find a tool. There are processes, there are guidelines, there are ways to do things, but there are no tools, no automation that can do that for us. So the only area where I see, and there's a bit on design, but it's still not mature enough at all. But in coding, testing, and in live, there are those 4 families of tools that are very, very effective. They're very, very effective. So we want to have a look at those ones. And for like some of them, we will have a live demo. We will show you how to install, run the tool, and we'll do it together. If you have your own computer, you can do it with me, assuming the Wi-Fi is merciful, which I don't know. But you can give it a try. Because this was originally the original concept of this talk was a workshop, so doing these things together. OK, so let's start for the SAST tools. So SAST stands for Static Application Security Testing. Those are tools that analyze the code in binary or source format. And they look at problems in the code in various ways. And there are 3 subfamilies that we will have a look at. Some of them more important than others, but let's drill down. So the first one that I want to have a look is the SIS, so the Sensitive Information Scanners. So those are the tools that will check if in your repo or in your code base, you have anything that you shouldn't be there. So AWS keys, RAF comments, they shouldn't be there, SSH keys, PGP keys committed to the repo and in the repo. You'll be surprised to know how frequently this happens. I mean, it happened to me, for sure. And I'm sure some of you will have this problem. So without further ado, let's have a look. Well, let's have a look at a couple of tools which I like. One is GitLeaks, and the other one is TruffleHog. All right. So, before we do that, let's. There are a couple of other tools that you might want to have a look. So GitRob, which is basically a scanner, but it doesn't have the best results. For the reason why I'm not going to demo this one, but it's a good one, not the best one, but it's a good one in my opinion. And then you have also this one, Git Secrets, which is specially focused on password-sensitive information. But again, it's very difficult to configure, so I wouldn't look at this one. But all these ones will be in my slides, all the links, and I will publish all the material on my blog, so you will be able to access it and try it yourself. So what I really want to have a look is to Git leaks. So Git leaks is the first one that we're going to look. And wow, it's small, the font. So Git leaks is a very good tool. You can download it in binary format. So and without further ado, let's do it. So you go to the release and you download it from here. Oh, 200. That's like too complicated. Let's look at the previous one. 125. Maybe I already downloaded. Let me check if I have it. I think I do. No, I don't. All right, let's download it. So it's a completely already compiled, so it's ready to use. That's good. And let's wait. Oh, well, I did have it. Sorry, I didn't see it. Let's cancel it, so it takes too much. So it's here. Just didn't recognize it because it wasn't a zip file. So this one is the results of the downloaded one. So if we now launch it, maybe in a nice way, you can see the help, and this tool can not only scan locally, you can scan a specific repo, it can scan your organization repo, all of it in one shot. So, and there's a lot of things you can do, but the good thing is very versatile. So what we can do is we can start on one. So we can start on this on a sample repo, and we'll see what happens. So this is a repo that the guy has provided as a demo. So if we're running on this one, we just launch the tool, it will clone the repo, and then immediately find 2 AWS keys there. So you say, oh, this is a demo, so it's not real. But just because of that, I went through and I selected another one, which now this one, and this one the same, plenty of AWS keys here. No, so it's an important problem that you want to fix, and you can organize it in different way. You can have this configured on a post-commit hook or pre-commit hook. You can put it in your CI. You can have it scanning continuously, depending on how you want to do that. But this is, very easy to work with. The next one would be a similar tool, which gives me sometimes better results, sometimes not. Those are all open source, by the way. And the next one would be Trufflehog. So it's like a guy that sniffs into your stuff and finds truffles. So, and again, I like this one because it's very easy to install and easy to use. And it's a Python program. And so you do pip install Trufflehog. Well, sudo maybe. Okay, I already have it, of course, because I tried yesterday. So if we try Trufflehog, I don't have it in the history. So Truffle. Let's try with the first test. This one. Trufflehog. So that the URL of the leak, and what do I need? I have to specify minus regex here. And here we go, same results, AWS key visible. So you want to avoid that. So I invite you to do your test on your repository. It's very easy. Install it, run it, done. So it's super easy, super straightforward, and you can go back to your workplace and see, you know, I check a couple of repositories, I found these things, and I'm not sure it should be there. No, you can be a little bit cocky about that. I don't know. And this is very fast and work across repositories, so it's very easy to use. So yeah, this was about. Oh, I can also, well, there are other examples, but I will go a little bit faster because we don't have time. So let's go back to the slides for a second. This is about software information scanner. So, sorry, sensitive information scanner. Now the next group of tools are the ones that are doing software composition analysis. So the thing you may know, I'm sure you know, that whenever you build your software, you use a lot of libraries. So if you're using Spring Boot or Jakarta, whatever it's called now, or Jetty or something, those frameworks collect a lot of other libraries with them. And it's correct that you use those libraries because you don't want to write things from scratch. I wouldn't expect you to write an HTTP server from scratch. That doesn't make any sense. So you would basically use this library and put in your POM.XML, Gradle, and just compile, and everything magically happens. You have a nice application. Writing 3 lines of code, you have, I don't know, a REST API backend with everything in it. With all configuration, with XML, no, sorry, annotations now, all this kind of stuff. Magic. However, this comes as a cost because when you ship this to production, you're not shipping only your code, but you're shipping all those libraries. And those libraries might end up being like 80 to 90% to your code, the code that you ship to production. So, and that's a large attack surface compared to your code, very large. And you have to understand that those libraries have different lifecycle from your code. So whenever you release, those libraries will release differently. So they will have they will release every month, every week, or every year, I don't know, but it will differ from your lifecycle. So how do you know you're using the latest version of the library? How do you know that the version you're using is not affected by a vulnerability, a very well-known vulnerability? Remember Equifax, Strats, very well-known vulnerability. They just used it. And how do you know? I mean, then the license problem. Are you using any GPL license? Are you familiar with how the GPL works and how may force you to release your source code? You know what happened to Tesla recently, BMW. They both have to release their source code. They're nice repository on GitHub, and you can access all their source code. Nice. I mean, not that you want to build a self-driving car, but you know, whatever. Maybe competitors may be interested. But anyway, if you want to go through the licensing problem, it's a big thing. So I will point you to a blog post for that. But again, it's a problem of the components, because if one of these components has the wrong license, then all your system has to be released with that license. Now, let's look at the options that we have. And here I have a shameless plug because I'm going to show you my tool, but just because I want to show you the licensing part, because dependency check doesn't do it. For up-to-date libraries and vulnerabilities, dependency check is probably good enough for Java. So let's have a look how it works. So dependency check. OK, I have it here. Magic. Allora. I'm speaking Italian now. OK, this is dependency check. They always dependency check, and comes out of is an open source project, so everything is available, and the client can be downloaded by Beantray. I remember Beantray. You will have all this, yes, like this one. So you will have all these links. So you can do it yourself. I already downloaded it. I will just unzip it if I find it. Dependency check. Here we go. Ooh, the latest version, 5.0. Amazing. So it creates a folder. Magic. So let's go into the folder. How do I use it? Yeah. So now let's work into a folder with a project that I know has problem. Well, every project has problem. If you don't use one of these things, you have a problem. Let me tell you. pages, let's code. Here we go. Okay, we have a POM file with, the report is already there, but I want to run the tool, so I'll delete it. Okay, this is a project, a simple project which I used when I want to show exploits, so it's an exploitable system. And and it's exploitable through a dependency. Because I'm using a not updated version of JSON data bind, because that is a JSON XML parsing deserialization library, I can execute code on the server. So I'm not gonna go into the intricacies of this. Again, there is a blog post if you want to look into it. But just if I run dependency check on this one, it's slightly convoluted the command. So, but give me a dependency check bin sh minus project sample and minus scan dot scan dot. So the system will scan your project. Oh no, we don't want to check for updates. No. This will take like 20 minutes. Wait. Because dependency check transfers all the databases on its own. No. You can do it at home. No, no update. Update like this. Yes. What did I do wrong? No update. Man, I cannot write. One more fatal error. No document exists. I don't know what's going on here. I literally don't know. I tried yesterday. It was perfectly working. I don't want to run it with update. It will take forever. No, it doesn't. I'm very sorry. It doesn't work. Oh God! And I actually removed the report that I had. By the way, I had the previous report. I deleted it. So I don't know. I don't know what one or more fatal errors occurred, no document exists mean. Sorry, I have no idea. I think I'm doing the right command. I tried yesterday. Yeah. But I don't know. Well, I will move on. I'm sorry. I guarantee you that this works and it gives you a nice report. It's true. Okay? I'm very sorry. I don't know what's going on. So let's pick up my tool. My tool, unfortunately, is closed source, but it has a free tier. So you want to try it on your code, it's easy. So you just have to download it from our website somewhere. Here. You download it. It's a jar file. It gives a similar report. It's just that we have more information and way better colors, of course. And we also have, GPL licenses things. So I can run mine. It's a Java. Of course, I'm a Java developer, so it's a Java tool. So again, the same thing. It will run. We scan the project. In this case, we'll discover it's Maven. If it was Ruby, we'll use a different thing. Node.js, different thing. Oh, already finished. And it will generate. The dependency tree will send information to the server. We'll get back with the results. So what you can see here is the report, and you can see there's a couple of scores. But let's go forward. So those blue ones are all vulnerabilities. There are plenty. Sorry. Let's move forward. So, and you can see here the possible upgrade that you can do, and those are the licenses that we are using. So let's do this. So you can see basically for every simple component, the license that it's used. And this is just 3 months old. So all these vulnerabilities, I don't even know how many of those are, is just 3 months old. So that's how insecure your code is if you never checked. So please, I suggest use one of these tools and make sure that they're working and they're as they're inside your pipeline. So this tool can be executed inside your pipeline, command line, CI, everywhere. So just use them. I will start just dependency check in update mode here and leave it in background. So maybe it will finish. I don't know. Now let's go back to the presentation. So again, the next family has the same acronym, static code analysis. Software composition analysis, static code, whatever. It's the same acronym. For a while, we pushed to have a different acronym, like software dependency analysis. No, they stick to SCA. So they're both called SCA now. But this is about looking exactly at the source code, or sometimes the binary, and find patterns that can lead to potentially exploits. The downsides of these ones is that they need a lot of configuration. They're not easy to use like the one that I just show you. You just run it and they just do things. Those you need to do a lot of configuration, and they may produce a lot of false positives. And usually developers are quite pissed about these tools, because especially when they're connected to Jira or to your backtracking system, so that they run the tool, the DevOps run the tool, and suddenly you have like 56 bugs to fix, and they're just mental, and you have to go each one of them. No, this is not a bug. No, this is not a bug. This is not a bug. Oh, maybe this one is. So it's just the thing that you have to configure those very well. Anyway, without further ado, we're going to see 3 of them: PMD, spot bugs, and error prone. Error prone is by Google, so it found some weird bugs that's the reason why I'm including it here. I don't particularly like it, but it found very weird bugs, so it's good. I would probably add it. Right, without further ado, so spot bugs. Oh, so yeah, spot bugs is the successor of find bugs, basically. Maybe some of you are familiar with spot bug, with find bugs, but spot bugs is just the successor of find bugs. So again, you download the binary, which I already downloaded, and then you unload, you unzip it. Extract here. I'm just showing you these things because I want to show you that it's not difficult. So people think, oh my God, it's going to be complicated. No, it's just 2 seconds. Apart from the guy here. Is it still, oh yeah, it's going on. Yeah, good. It will finish eventually. So I have the folder. Let's move into another one. Like here. Oh, they have to export the spots export. Okay, I have to export this variable to tell the spot bugs. Oh yeah, here I'm going to show you the UI, just because the UI is slightly better understandable. But again, this has a command line interface, can integrate into the CI, Okay, so let's, without further ado, jar spot button. And I reduced. Lib. Here we go. Come on. Bring it on. It's coming. Oh, yeah. I tried to change the font of this. I wasn't able to. So this interface is probably made by Swing, but they didn't really, I don't know. Well, I wasn't able to do it. But anyway, that's easy to use. So you basically create a project from the UI, and it's the best way to quickly check something. So you add the source, you had the source folder of your project. So I will use fast.json because it's a fascinating project full of bugs, and I really like it. Not because of the bugs. Here we go, choose. And then I will add the classes here. So it's inside the fast.json target classes. Here we go, choose, analyze. So these guys will run and do an analysis, and we do a couple of passes. The first time very fast, the second time very slow. And the thing about this is that yeah, you will see it finds a lot of things that may not be necessarily relevant. But, you know, it's a good thing sometimes to be aware of some of them, assuming this actually eventually finish. Yes, it's going there. Yeah. Nice exception. We're going to ignore it. For example, we want to have a look at, I don't know, there are a lot of things here. So I know it's very small, but it's a long list of stuff and long list of problems. So I don't know, bad use of return type from method. I don't know what that is. So the problem with this one is you have to look into all these things and make sure you, oh yeah, you see this one is doing for iterator has next, iterator has next. So it does a double iteration at the start of the for, which is probably, I don't know, maybe it's correct, but it's slightly suspicious. So a developer that wrote something like that, a double iteration of an iterator inside the iteration loop, I would probably ask him, well, can you write it differently, please? It's not very nice to see. But this is a legit one. But I'm sure there are ones that are not very good, not very sensible. So in addition to that, what you can do with this, you can also install a plugin. Let's save the project. Yeah, I want to save in, I don't know. Well, let's not save it. It's too complicated. Don't save. Yeah. So you can also install a plugin which is called Find the Sec Bugs, which is a plugin that runs on top of this. So, and you install it just downloading the jar in the folder. Where is it? Oh, sorry, just wrong. Find security bugs. Here we go. And I think, do you have the jar? I don't know. Get the plugin. Keep. All right. So I have the plugin, I hope, here somewhere. Find sec bug, okay. I copy it inside the dependency check. No, sorry. That's it, wrong spot bugs. Plugin, put it here. Oh, done. Then I restart the thingy. You see, it's very easy. It's nothing, oh my God, this tool is so complicated. No. So I can do the analysis again. Oh yeah, I didn't save the project. Oops. Maybe I should have in Insight. Well, nobody's perfect, no? Where are we? In the source folder. So the source folder is here, Java. Yeah, we go, and then we add here the class, the target classes, JSON, target classes. Here we go, choose, and analyze. And again, we go again into the tool. It's going to do some analysis. And the thing about this is that it will spot not only normal bugs, but also potential security issues. It has a set of rules that, of course, you can change and manipulate. And it will show you security problems eventually. Well, it's almost there. It's half. Come on, come on. Because I'd have to find something else to say. I don't know what to say when this thing is running. But I don't know. It's probably because the other guy is still downloaded. That's the reason why this one is low. Oh, exception, ignore. And here we have security. Here we go. You see this? You don't see it from here, I'm sure, but I can see it from my computer with my glasses. So there is a security tab here. And for example, this is a deserialization gadget. So when you have things like this, so I'm not sure you can see it, but here you can see public class, blah, 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 extend, blah, blah, blah. And it's basically extending a map of string of objects, a map with string of objects. So why is this a problem? Because when there is an object there, I can deserialize anything I want. I can deserialize into that object any other thing. And one of the things that I can deserialize is another object that then gets executed on your server. So you don't want to have those things. So this is a very good insight about things that you shouldn't do. You should put there, instead of object, a real clear class, a hard code class that you know what you're going to deserialize. And then there are other things, but you see, it's so easy to use. And again, command line recommended. Yeah. That's it for this one. Of course, if you have a question, just fire it. No, I don't want to save. No, I don't need to save it. How do you exit? No, don't save. No. OK, good. Right, now we go to the next one, which is PMD. PMD is famous. I mean, I'm sure that some of you has used, and it's not only related to security, but also related to code style and stuff like that. So I have 15 minutes. So I will probably skip PMD. Well, that should be easy to use, no? Well, come on, let's do it. So I'm sure I already downloaded. If I don't, I will not do it. PND, yes. Extract here. Here we go. Where is our guide? Is this finished? Let me see. Oh, I did. You see? Finished analysis. Do you want to see the report? Sorry. Do you remember? This is the one we started 15 minutes ago. I was, you know, it had this weird thingy. Oh. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, got it. So this is the report for dependency check. Also, him find a lot of stuff here, you can see. And then there is description and blah, 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 blah. It doesn't say anything about the licensing of the upgrade path, but it gives you a big insight of what's going wrong. And of course, this, like the other one, you can configure it to fail the build if you find too many things that you don't like. So, straightforward. Now, happy you finished, that's good. Now, going back to PMD. All right. So what we do here, there's a script to run, sorry. Okay, so it's my, so I have to do this. Bin run.sh. PMD minus f text, format text for output, minus d home, my home folder. Okay, speeches, nets code. Wow, minus r rule sets Java quick start .xml. So this thing is based on rules, so you can define your own rules, but basically, yeah, it's going to be too long to go through that. But basically what happens is that using this set of rules, it analyzes your code and gives you output and tells you what to fix. And there are a lot of rules and external rules that contributed to rules, and there's a whole world of rules that you can play with. So if you kind of OCD about rules, that's your tool. Now, error prone, I will probably skip error prone. It's a Maven plugin. You add it and you will find things. So, but I will publish everything on my blog just for the sake of looking at the things that I most like. So there are, of course, other tools. There are DAST tools that we presented this morning, also in the talk this morning, like Burp and OWASP. So basically, those are available to testing the application. They usually use in test environment, and interacts with HTML pages, APIs, and other protocols. So you run one of those tools, and they will basically check that you don't have any, I mean, like CORS or things like that can be exploited. They're good, and they're open source. So, well, Burp is I think it's still there's a community issue in Burp, so that's cool. And and Zap is also cool. Zap is a proxy, and Burp is a scanner. We won't demo these ones. Then we have, I want to demo you these ones. This one I like. So those are the RASP tools. RASP stands for Runtime Application Self-Protection. And those are the most modern tools available in the market today. So how do they work? They basically inject an agent inside your application. And then this agent instruments the code. So it's basically a code instrumentation, like when we do performance analysis. And instruments your code, and then it's active inside your code. So you know, for example, when you smart guys use a prepare statement instead of statement, no? Why would you do that? I mean, if you use one of them. So use a prepare statement because you want to avoid string concatenation. So you avoid the risk of somebody injecting some drop table, semicolon, no? Inside your query, drop table user, semicolon. You don't want to avoid that. So to avoid string concatenation, use prepare statement. But the problem with that is that you don't have control about what happens next. So what happens next? The user can still continue to attack in different ways. His session is still valid. So he can continue to attack and find other ways and do something completely different. So RASP tools are inside the application, and they're able to take decisions. So they can not only stop the attacker, but for example, burn is session, blacklist is IP, record the pattern of activity and never allow it again. So they're very, very good. And because they are inside the application, they are particularly powerful. So if they are so cool, why there aren't so many of them? Well, because they're kind of complicated. They're not easy things. So the only one that I find in open source, which is still being developed, is OpenRASP, which is unfortunately by Baidu. Well, not because it's because it's a Chinese company. So people tend not to trust the code from China, and that's the problem that they also have in supporting the project, because also most of the documentation in Chinese, and this doesn't help either. So even with Google Translate, in order to set up this demo, I have to go through a lot of reading in Chinese, which I don't know. So yeah. Unfortunately, my business partner, she's Chinese, so that helps. So OpenRASP, it's here. Let me open the. Okay, so you have to download the Java. It works for Java and PHP, if I remember. So we will stick to the Java version. So this is how you download the Java tool. And then it can instrument a set of application server. In this demo, we'll instrument Tomcat. So you also have to download the Tomcat, which is, well, I don't know, here. So I already downloaded, of course. Clever guy. So I hope. Apache Tomcat, here we go. Extract here. And then, where is OpenRASP? OpenRASP, RASP, here we go. Extract here. And then we have the test cases. Extract here. Right, so I downloaded the RASP agent, Tomcat, and some test cases. So what we're going to do, we're going to start Tomcat. Apache. I have to do this. Here we go. So I'm just running Tomcat now. Done. So let's go on the other one. Tomcat is running. I'm going to hot deploy the test cases. Oh, I have to build it. I just need package. I'm going to build the test cases, a web application with a lot of test cases. Of course you have. Oh, sorry, Java. There's also a PHP test case. We want the Java ones, right? So now we're starting pissing me off. Why don't I have the? Well, let me just check 1 second. Oh, there's a subdirectory. Come on, behave. Compiling. So this is a web application. We're going to move. We're going to copy the target. Sorry, wounds.var in downloads, Apache, Tomcat, web apps. This is the plain old hot deployment. Oops, what? Copy. Come on, long way since I used Windows. So you see, this is deploying now the web application. So I think it's deployed. So we can go into the. Okay, here we go. You can see it's very nice Chinese, but we can try this one, for example. This is an interesting one. So it's an attack on Tomcat that allows you to go back and read any folder. So this basically is giant small. So I can go back and read the ATC passvd with this call. Here we go. This is my ATC passvd. Scary, eh? No? Okay. And we can, and another one would be, I don't know, there's another one that executes things. This one, I remotely execute a command. Here we go, my folder. No, this is all done through this not so very well done web application with vulnerabilities in it and the complicity of Tomcat for both of them. So what we do now, we just stop this and we deploy the RASP thingy. Oh, come on, come on, come on. It should be here. Yeah. And I think I have to tell him where the thing is, where Tomcat is. There we go. Oh, minus install. So this will basically create put the agent inside Tomcat or do the instrumentation of the code. So everything will start as normal, but now Tomcat has inside the RASP agent. So what happens here is that when I go here and I try to do this one, I get redirected, I get blocked, and redirected to a nice Baidu page that tells me, oh, you have been blocked. and my whole session, I mean, if I was in a web application, my whole session will be blocked, and I didn't configure the IP blocking. Also, my IP will be blocked. So you see, this, you don't have anything. Everything runs under the scene. That's the magic of it. Now, we have only, I go back, I'm sorry that I wasn't able to finish everything, but I go back to the slides. And we have IAST that, again, is, well, you can read the slides later. It's just for testing, really, at the moment. And then we have web application firewalls that are not as good as RASP, but at the moment are the best thing that can have. But commercial options. But let's go back to the Q&A. So I will open the thingy here. If you have any question. You don't have any question. That's magic. Oh my God, really? That's amazing. I don't see any question. You don't have any questions? Oh, there's one. I can see it. Oh yeah. Any other tools for RASP? RASP, R-A-S-P. There is one commercial tool which is from, oh God. I don't remember Nessus, but I could be wrong. I'm not sure if it's Nessus of Contrast Security or Nessus. I think it's Contrast Security. They have a RASP tool that works for Java. So but it's a commercial one. Open source, there is none. If you want to contribute to Open RASP, you can, but it is quite, it's going to be quite tricky for you. So, because you have to know Chinese. So I'm not sure. I don't know Chinese. Well, if you don't have any other question, please, thanks for your attendance. If you want to vote my presentation, please do. If you want to tweet, please do. And if you have any other question, I will be floating around so you can ask me directly. Thanks very much.